should be able to choose the music like on Instagram. I think we're live. Yay!
Oh,
And
hello.
hi, Tina. Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day, Noemi. Thank you so much for doing this.
Is it still
Happy to be here.
is it still Women's Day by where you are? Because it might be just over.
Yeah, it's Women's Day. It doesn't matter.
Day every day.
Welcome, Jim, to the live.
So I've scheduled a live with Tina Nayak and also Hattie, but she had an emergency at the last minute, and myself to talk about how we support women and also men. But for today, we're going to speak about women because it's Women's Day. So allow us. Don't be mad at us. But it applies to men also. So stick around, hang out with us, celebrate us. Yeah, so we wanted to just hop on. And the idea was to get myself and Tina and Patty to talk about how we support women through the work that we do here on Substack.
Right.
And then we're going to launch something special at the end, courtesy of Tina. So that's kind of the plan. We're going to chat a bit. First, I want to maybe introduce you to Me Time if you don't know what Me Time is. Just really briefly, Me Time is my publication, and it's all about taking back some of your time from your job, from your I must do this, I must do that, I must say yes to every invite and things like that, reclaiming some of that time, claiming it as yours and doing something with it. That is pursuing your dream, writing your Substack, going for that thing that you never had time for. So that's what Me Time is about. And to support that and all of my subscribers, I also organize do sessions where we take some of that me time together, and we learn digital skills about design and copywriting and monetization and writing a newsletter, building a digital business, and trying to get all those skills that you need when you're a solopreneur. And I'm also a lawyer, and I have another publication called The Fine Print, where I offer terms and conditions for your Substack publication, especially if it's on a paid tier. But I'm not going to bore you with what Me Time does and what Me Time doesn't, or The Fine Print. I want to introduce you to Tina Nayak, and her publication is called The Habit Collective.
No, Consistency Collective.
Exactly. I got my phone alarm is going on. I turned off my phone so nobody can call me or whatever, and now there's an alarm trying to ring. Sorry. The Consistency Collective. I even have it written here.
It's okay.
Tina is going to tell us more about it in her own words, so I don't mess it up any longer. Would you like to talk about your publication, Tina?
Yeah. First of all, Naomi, thank you so much for having me and organizing this. And hello and welcome to everyone who's joined. I'm Tina. I have a publication called The Consistency Collective. It's basically a publication where I talk about the behind the scenes of building consistency. I am not a streaks fan because it has helped me create a lot of perfectionism within me and these false standards that I have to meet. And it has I think it hits your confidence when you break a streak. So, I'll talk about it a little later. So I started this initiative called habit capsules, which is basically, it's like a capsule of habit you pop in between meetings. You're doing something, so you're actually showing up for yourself while you are in the middle of a busy day. And I'm a huge habit I love to look at and build my life around these tiny little habits that that makes it easier. Like Naomi, you talked about, getting back your me time. And for me, it's like, I've been in a corporate job. I've been with high growth startups for like almost 18 years. I have a behavioral science consulting company as well. But this is where I get me time for me. And I'm also so happy to be one of your paid subscribers because it's just so much value out here. So, yeah, that's in a nutshell. And yeah, so whatever we do, we have to be consistent with it. And it has the highs and lows. And how do you not give up when, things are going bad, kids are sick, you can't make it, you're not in the mood, all of which is what I talk about it.
Can I ask a
So,
question? Because I feel like I know the product because we talk about
yeah.
it. We have these top secret meetings once where we strategize and we plan things for our publications, and then I think that's where we were actually planning this live, or it came up
Right, right.
naturally. And I feel like I want you to tell me a bit the story about why women and streaks doesn't really work together, because I really loved and connected with that at the personal level, because I cannot keep a streak even if someone paid me to. So if can you tell me more about the streaks part and how that kind of breaks our confidence, and basically sets us up for failure if we want to build any type of habit like working out or writing regularly on Substack, showing up for ourselves in whatever way.
Yeah, I mean, I think most habits, I mean, a lot of the habit literature that we read about, whether it's atomic habits, whether it's BJ Fogg, and a lot of that we read, it talks about streaks, which is basically you have to do it continuously. You have to show up every single day and not miss it or not miss it more than 2 times. There is merit in that, but the truth is, I mean, if you look at our lives, it's not perfect. Streaks are perfect, right? You can't break it. But our lives are not like that. We are not like that. Work has become demanding, especially for moms who are, juggling work, kids, sickness, their moods, and hormonal changes that we go through. It's just not possible. At least I was not able to do, and I don't know of a single person who has been this perfect streak person. Um, so I never really understood, like, why do we romanticize this so much? And that's when, now because I deal with behavioral science and I've been studying humans and their behavior for my work, this just came naturally to me. And I remember reading Atomic Habits, and I saw the 1% compounding growth curve, and I was like, huh, does it really look like this if I put in my real habits? And that's where my first experiment started for 6 months, where I just said, I went into a Google Sheet, I created a model, and then I was like, I'm going to even if it's a zero, I'm going to show up and then record that. And it was fascinating. I realized that I could build consistency. I could do all of that. I was able to build 6 habits over a period of 6 months, most of which is consistent even today after 6 years of doing that. And all of which was not showing up for so many days, coming back, but knowing what your why is, and then, chasing that. So it's possible, but I don't know why there is this so much focus on don't break your streak, otherwise it will not work. Nothing of that sort. So
And it's nice
yeah, that,
to feel terrible, right? So, like,
yeah.
the streak, you feel, like, so awful and, like, I didn't show up for myself. I'm a terrible person. Maybe I should give up. I'm not made for this and whatever." That's not the truth. I mean, nothing is as consistent, for women or men or kids or whatever. Like, we have days, we are in a society, in a family, there's so many things happening, and
Absolutely.
yeah, streaks are such a high
And
pressure. I would not be able to join any type of like group thing where we need to like streak together. I'd be like, I don't
yeah, I mean, I think one more thing I'd like to add here is like, the world is already very tough, and there's so much sadness, so much fear, so much, if you don't do this, you will miss out, the FOMOs. Why create or put yourself in a system or in this framework where you feel miserable even more. So I just decided to kind of flip this whole story and say that how can I be kind to myself? How can I love myself a little more? How can I build confidence? And the only way to do that for me was to see data, have some evidence, and you build these pools of evidence through by collecting that, oh, I showed up even if it was just like 10 squats in between my meetings, but I didn't have the time to do a full workout. So, and that's where this whole journey started. And yeah,
I love it. I love it so much. And I love that it actually kind of works with streaks because you just make it so easy that it you can actually do it every day because you just say, okay, fine, I cannot do half an hour workout, but I'll do something, and you have a plan.
absolutely.
You have your like 1% version of the habit you're trying to build. Thank you, Coach Sean, for the Women's Day celebration. Thank you so much.
Happy Women's Day to you too. And happy Women's Day to everyone who's joined. Thank you so much for taking the time on a Sunday to join us.
Yes, thank you so much. It's really appreciated. We want to celebrate women by showing up for women and men generally, but for today, we're going to kind of focus on the women part. So, guys, just give us a carte blanche for today. It's including you is just to celebrate Women's Day. And we're talking today with Tina and myself about how our publications, how the things we're doing here support women, lift them up in the current reality we all live, all these things pulling at us, all the FOMO, all of the perfectionism that is everywhere. Speaking of perfectionism, Tina, you wanted to talk about kind of your view on perfectionism and how that can, stop us from building meaningful habits or make it more difficult.
I would love to. Now it's my favorite topic and also the theme of my launch. And for me, I'll tell you my personal story. I've been sitting with this whole habit system and framework. I ran 2 cohorts with women globally, and they loved it. They have consistent habits even today when I'm in touch with them. And I've been sitting on this idea for like 6 years. And it's only today that, only this year in 2026, I said it. It's done and I have to ship it. And and it's such a personal topic to me because it's such a trap that we've been trained. I'm in my mid 40s, so early years of my life is like, oh, you have to be perfect, this can't go out, you have to make sure the t's are whatever dashed or whatever we call it,
Yeah.
crossed, thank you. and everything has to be perfect, right? And it keeps you from doing the things you love, doing the things you were born to do, uh you know reaching out for the purpose. And because unless and I just started this year writing this consistency collective. I have an article where I write about, I started I came to Substack 3 times before, and it was only now that I've been consistent and I'm on track to writing every fortnight. That's what my newsletter ships out. And I think that has happened because of these tiny little steps. And every time I do something, I make sure it's written somewhere. I'm collecting it so that, this kind of evidence pool that I can always show to my inner demon, saying that, look, I said I'd do and I showed up. I followed through. And yeah, so that's what I mean. I hate perfectionism now, and my whole right now I'm saying that anyone who wants to be an anti-perfectionist, please join in. I'm going to give you a free ticket to my upcoming Habit Wealth app.
Yeah, I mean, Tina's gonna speak about it a little bit later, exactly what her beta coaching group is all about, but it's super cool and there's 50 seats for I think you're launching today, right? Women's Day, but it's also for men, right? We'll
Yeah,
speak about
so
it afterward,
yeah, we'll see.
or should we speak about it now because now we already Good
So quickly, I think I'll just quickly say it that, I'm so passionate about this, and I just feel that you can build your habits, achieve your goals by taking tiny steps every single day. But I personally feel we need to build the evidence pool of the things that we are doing every day so that we know that, it's working. So I'm launching a beta work in progress habit wealth app. I call it habit wealth because your habits every day, it's like savings, it never goes away. You do a little bit and it compounds over time. But if you don't see it, you don't see it happening. So what you see is what you believe. And my goal is that this web app that I'm building is something that collects that and gives you a visual field of where your efforts are going across. I have 4 pillars, which is physical, intellectual, creative, and relationships. And you just don't build habits like meditation and yoga. You can have a habit where you show up for the business that you want to build, the side hustle, the creative passion, but all of which demands consistency and little efforts every day. The days you are in great mood and more time, just do a lot more. But on the other days, how can you show up for yourself with kindness and love? And that's where it's from. It's the whole idea is to be very positive about it. And the web app is something that anyone can join. You don't have to. It. I just want to build it in a more inclusive way where, whatever challenges you have, the context of your life fits into the app more than it's like, you failed on the streak, you broke it now, so you're a failure.
And
So, yeah,
Duolingo is so I feel so bad. My daughter is learning Danish, and we're trying to
right.
learn Danish with her, and the little bird comes up and was like, "You're losing your streak," and I'm like, "Leave me alone." But I got
That's terrible.
I
I don't think it works anymore, to be very honest.
stressful.
Thank you for the love.
It's stressful. EJ, thank you so much for the love for Tina. I'm sure also for myself for my beautiful smile. Um,
Of course.
I'm so modest. Um, so we were talking about perfection, and I want to tip in because I know Tina wants me to speak about my relationship with
I was
perfectionism.
just going to ask you, like, tell me yours. Like, how
Exactly.
did you get here? What do you do? Do you have perfect? Because you don't look like someone who has this perfectionism thing because you ship so much. I remember I looked at your work and I was like, man, I want to be like her. She just keeps churning things out.
Misspelling and all, yes. uh,
Oh,
I'm
forget that.
I'm a little bit dyslexic, so I've accepted that about myself. So I'm a lawyer. I quit my legal career. Well, not fully. I started my own consultancy and I help startups, but kind of the legal field is where perfection is expected of you and where you cannot show up to a customer or a client not looking your best, not sounding your best, and knowing what you're talking about. Where if you deliver a document, it has to be.
Absolutely.
Um, so I came from this very rigid um, background where everything needed to be just so, to the extent where you couldn't use any creativity for contracts or things. There were standard templates that then you adapted a little bit. Don't be
Yeah.
crazy. Don't go bananas. um, Otherwise, the world would shatter. I'm pretty sure that was the consequence. And I hate it because that's not how I vibe. I'm not a perfectionist. And I was kind of stuck in a perfectionist world or pushed into a perfectionist world that I didn't know I had to be. And I'm also dyslexic, so for me, a perfect contract will still have a couple spelling mistakes. Now with AI, a bit less because they're pretty good at catching all of them. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, so that was my struggle. I was forced to be a perfectionist when I wasn't, and a bit of my mission has always been to kind of challenge this way of rigid way of thinking that things need to be a certain way for them to be good, and if they're not like that, they're intrinsically not good.
Hmm.
One, because it stops you from innovating. If you don't innovate, how are you going to adapt to an ever-changing world? That's why the legal field
True
is
that.
behind in terms of a lot of different ways that you can support these technology. That's why maybe the EU is frowned upon by the US, because we're like, so like, we need more rules. We need
Yeah.
more rules. And the US is like, you guys stop it with the fucking rules. And if you're gonna use, can you at least not impose them on the entire globe? That's so unfair. Anyways, I love the EU, and the regulations are there to protect people and rights. So I'm not going to go into that topic. But perfectionism is kind of a trap because it doesn't exist. To who says what's perfect and what isn't? Is there ever is there
There, that's the
ever
one.
where there's like, oh, this is perfection, and when you reach that, my husband, he's a perfectionist. He really is, and he's a musician. And
That explains too.
I sent him a challenge to push out a recording of his music every Wednesday. Um, doesn't matter the the level of I don't know how much it was worked on or whatever. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just do it. Just show your work. Just show up. Just do stuff.
Right.
Because he was this may be like the 4th year that he's, like, trying to put out an album, and he did 1 song, and I'm like, "What is stopping you? What's stopping you is perfectionism, that everything needs to be just so, that the I cannot say musical stuff, I don't I am totally I just know if I like it or I don't. But anyways, I was trying to challenge him to do that, and I do that for myself also, because, there's that saying, perfect is the enemy of good.
Of good.
Yeah. And so on. Like, perfection is actually even from a behavioral science point of view, I think, Tina, you know more than me, but it's something about people don't connect with perfection. Perfection is off-putting. It makes people feel bad. So actually seeing someone stumble, someone actually starting a speech where they like, I don't know, they get flustered, they make a mistake, they fall off the stage or something. They the audience is much more afterwards kind of willing for them to succeed, and kind of encouraging them, and wanting for them to fix it somehow and make it an awesome talk because of that imperfection, not despite it. So we're like all kind of super stressed to be so perfect, but in fact, showing up authentically. I know it's a buzzword today, nowadays, but like really just showing up as you are, a bit imperfect, not with everything figured out, and then you figure it out together
That's right.
to succeed on Substack, succeed in business. Nobody A lot of investors say, "Oh, we know that we invest in your company, and the product that's gonna be there next year is not gonna have anything to do with the product that we're investing in today," because there's a discovery process. The customers tell you what
Absolutely.
you want, and it's the same in life. The habit you start building and what you're gonna be, who you're gonna be in a year or 2 or 3 is a different person, but you show up for yourself. You learn that by just doing little things, your confidence grows, your also your mechanism of pulling that time that you need to do those things kind of
Hmm.
becomes stronger, and all of a sudden you're an evolved version of yourself, and you see the data with Tina's tracking method where you're like, all of a sudden I'm like, holy cannoli, I can speak a bit of German, or whatever you're trying to to achieve. I'm trying to learn Danish. But
I lived in Berlin for like 5 years, so I'm very well versed, well aware of EU regulations. And to be very honest, I really appreciated that. I've lived in the US for 5 years. I'm in India, but I actually quite like it. There are some guardrails, and I think you really need that sometimes. Otherwise, it can really go out of whack. um,
especially with AI. So
yeah.
thank
And
you
not
for
everybody has that, inner compass to kind of say, okay, this is good. I shouldn't cross the line here.
this is a big discussion. I'm not gonna get into it, but
Yeah.
I'm pro you and and having regulations to kind of curtail a bit the exponential growth and the risk that could be that humanity can be exposed to all of these innovations. There needs to be some sort of balance, but I'm not gonna go too deep into that because it's a different story. And then Tina's not gonna like me anymore because I get like
No,
emotional.
I mean, I'm using AI to build, so that
I do. I'm
uh,
using it too. I don't hate AI, as people would say to me many, many times, like, "Oh, Noemi, I know you hate AI, but da, 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 da." I'm like, "No, I don't hate AI. I hate how humans use AI and how AI companies build recklessly with goals of reducing workforce and replacing us with robots and things like that, and creating this false FOMO that if we don't spend all our time on AI to teach them what they need to
oh
do,
no,
then we're gonna be totally obsolete in 5 days, and there's not gonna be any future for us. And I think the story could be wider, and we should take back control of ourselves, but that's really a different story. So I'm gonna stop here and look at my notes and see what was the other one that we were, trying to talk about. In real stories, it was,
yeah.
the
I had a question for you.
yeah.
You know, if you look back in your journey, what would you look at and say, what is the one thing you got wrong, or what would you do differently now?
Well, I've gotten many things wrong, and that's kind of the thing
Like everyone else.
with perfectionist is I'm gonna make more mistakes than the perfectionists, but they don't learn as much as I do because I learned through making mistakes. I think this really hits today more than ever because of Women's Day, which is this kind of myth that uh, I see these posts all the time. Oh, this is your permission slip to live your life or whatever. And I'm like, that is such bullshit. I'm sorry for my language. One, I haven't seen a man that's not a teacher in a high school or something like that speak about permission slips. So why do women speak about permission slips and feel the need to kind of give this like blank slate to other women to pursue their dreams, to live their life, to tell their story,
Right.
to to show up for themselves? You don't need any type of permission. You don't need to be invited to the table with the men or with the leadership. You just decide, I'm ready to lead. And if your company is not ready to receive you in that field, that's absolutely fine, but you have the right and you
Hmm.
should go for it elsewhere or however you want to do. You can lead in the community, you can lead in a volunteering position to start with. You can do it however you
Correct.
want, and nobody needs to tap you on the back, invite you, or same for men. But I feel like for women, we're like waiting to be like anointed by someone into a position or into a growth role or into a leadership role. But if you feel like you're a leader inside and you're ready, that's enough. And just go and do it. And that's one of the things that I was struggling with. I felt like they didn't pick me, they didn't see me, they didn't appreciate me. And one day I decided, fuck it. I'm gonna see myself. I'm gonna do it. I'm ready. The company I'm in maybe doesn't need someone to lead on this track. That's fine. No hard feelings. I'm gonna find my way of doing it because I'm there and I can bring so much value. So when I stopped waiting for an invite, waiting for a permission slip, my life exploded. It flourished.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I took out the chains of waiting for people to accept me, to invite me to whatever. I started my own. I was like, "Oh, I want someone to invite me on their podcast." I started my own podcast. I don't care anymore.
Oh, wow.
I don't need anyone to invite me. I just do the things I know I can do, help the people I know I can help. I learn, I fail, I do it publicly so I can have that kind of feedback and a bit of like something to keep me in check. And I love it. And my life is great and full of adventure and failure and all kinds of emotions, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And otherwise, if I wouldn't have decided, you know what, I don't need a permission slip, where would my life have been? Burnout,
Right.
overweight, uh, health to shit, exactly where I was 3 years ago. And I won't do that anymore to myself. So that was the
you
biggest.
know, you talk about permission slips, right? I think a lot of, at least for women, are, it, you know, I go back over 40 years now. And in those days, there was a lot of permission that was required. And it's kind of deeply wired into the way we are, the way we think, the mental frameworks we use. It's like, oh, we need to be invited. I remember in my first job, I said, oh, how can I ask for a raise? I mean, if I deserve it, you will give it to me. This was how I used to think. And I remember that, but there was this very fine gentleman who was in another team, like, Tina, nobody's going to invite you. You have to just go
Mhm.
ask for it. So please go do it. I was like 22. and and it still didn't sit well with me. So I was very happy that you did that note today on today or yesterday on, you don't need permission. Uh, Sometimes you need to remind people, and you have to give people the permission to not ask for permission. And it's just the way we are, and the more we talk about it and the more lives we have talking about these topics can really open up discussions and over time build evidence towards the things that sometimes you need to just be told that that's not the way to see it, and
Yeah,
only then you start seeing what you don't see. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
You know what I think for women, it's also the thing about permission was something part of society and how we were
Correct.
right? Like the husbands at some point in the 50s, 60s had to allow you to have a bank account or approve a loan,
Correct.
or if you want
Correct.
to start your business, we didn't have voting rights for a long time and so on and so forth. So there's this kind of inherent thing in society, especially for women, of this like someone needs to approve whatever you're trying to do. But I think that can hold us back so much because it kind of it taught us that we can only go for our goals if no one else is time needs or whatever are interfering with it. So this kind of inherent permission,
Yeah.
and what I'm trying to flip the switch on with me time and say, just reclaim some of your time. You don't need to like say to your don't talk to me for 3 years or anything like that.
Hmm.
Just put stuff in your calendar. Like these are my 2 hours where I work out and I meditate in the morning, and someone else needs to take care of breakfast for that day on that in that week, or I
Yep.
go to volleyball practice, or I used to do that when I wasn't very pregnant. And I would be like, this is my volleyball, which means I need the commute time to go to volleyball, and I need some time afterwards to recover, get a smoothie, and come back home. And it's not negotiable. I'm not going to parties in that time. I'm not like, I don't know, babysitting or whatever. This is my time for me. And it's not a huge amount, but when I come back home, I'm recharged, my confidence is up, I've done things that I love or worked on my dream, and I feel alive. I feel like I matter. What my goals matter. It's not taking care of everyone else, and if there's time left, because there's no more time. Like the
Yeah.
the jobs, the kids, the husbands, they're all gonna suck all your time if you allow it. So if you wait for this permission kind of mentality to kind of magically, dissipate, and all of a sudden you have all this free time, you're gonna be 65 and
Nothing wrong with that age, Naomi.
yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with the age, but I'm like, you could have started at 30, right? You could have started living your
I
life the way
I feel like I'm 47 and I feel that, oh, I could have started a long time ago. But personal story, like my daughter is now in undergrad, so she left home last year. And suddenly I feel like I'm in my 20s back again, just wiser. And I have life experience and it's like, okay, now I can do all the things that I wanted to do. I suddenly have time to do this passion of writing, which I've wanted to do for years. And I don't know how I started talking about this, but I finally feel I've got my me time back.
Yeah, and I think you can wait for it to naturally come when some of the burdens or some of the requirements of your life or the things that you gave time to, like your daughter, which is obviously a
Yeah.
beautiful thing, kind of get lifted. But for example, my husband is from Italy. The kids don't move out until they're like 38 or something.
Yeah.
Which means you're like 57. Uh, and at 57, you can finally start to live your life. But you have 3 years to work more or 5 or 7, and then you might be sick or whatever, all these things that can happen the more you go in age. And what I'm saying is start today. You don't need to wait for life to give you the time to do things. You can take a little bit of time, half an hour here, an hour there, to build whatever you need and build those habits. Create something for yourself. Chase your dream today, not later, because later might not come. Personal story, my dad passed away 6 months before his retirement, and he didn't get to rest. He didn't get to pursue his dreams. He just was
Oh,
like a dog and
so
then
sorry.
away. And it was terrible, and probably that's where me time was born. Like, if I look really deeply at it, because there's no time like today. Tomorrow is not promised, and in that
Hmm.
kind of scenario, and it's true, and we all know it, we just don't wanna think about it.
Correct.
Today is all we have, so go see a friend, go see that movie, go dancing, enjoy your kids. Write that thing that you want. Put that note out into the universe. Start your Substack. Do the things. Do them now. Like there's no tomorrow, and nobody is promised tomorrow. So just do it, and don't wait for permission, and don't wait for perfection, and don't wait for anything. If you feel it, just do it, and it doesn't have to be everything at once, and it doesn't have to mean quit your job and go hiking the Everest trails or whatever. It's a bit about just give yourself the permission to do your thing as a woman, as a man, as whatever, and just live your life and make it so you feel like you fall back in love with your life, because
Right.
otherwise, what's the point? What's really
Yeah. I think here I'd just like to say that whoever's listening to us, first of all, thank you. And it's probably, this is your sign. You're in this chat, in this live, because it's the permission to go ahead and do, let go of perfection. And sometimes I think the stars are just aligned. So, in case there's something, but you can always write it in the chat. What is it that you were waiting to do that you might that comes to your mind right now?
And Tina, before I speak even more, because seriously, I spoke too much, tell us about
Oh,
capsules.
so, sorry,
Tell
what
us
was that?
about what you're launching. I put the link right now.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, I'm launching the Habit Wealth app. This is a philosophy that Habit Capsules built on. Just very quickly for the viewers here, Habit Capsules is like, think of it like a vitamin pill, and I know capsule sounds like medicine, but in a way, it is a medicine because these are things that you need to do. Like Naomi said, that we don't want to wait until it's too late, and find these little pockets of time to invest in the things that help us achieve and become more happier, kinder persons that we wanted to be and not just penalize ourselves. So, habit capsules is about popping those habit capsules along the way. That being said, when you collect them over time, it's like savings. It's always there. They don't disappear like streaks, which like once you break it and it's gone. No such thing. It's all habits are stored in your body like muscle memory. So when you pick it up, like if you've taken a sport, like I used to train for tennis, not like professional, but just I loved the game. I wanted to play and I gave it up. And then after a few years, I got back. I thought I'd forgotten everything and I went back into the court. I made a couple of mistakes and then my shots are back on. So, habits is like that, you know. So, habit wealth is about collecting your capsules over time and you have this habit wealth. So, I'm bringing out an app which measures. I mean, that's the vision. We're reimagining the way you build habits and how do you um, look at habits from a physical, intellectual, creative, and relationship aspect. Like, for example, I have a habit where I call one person I haven't called in the last 3 years. And it could be a colleague, it could be a friend, it could be a relative. And, it's just like, and it's so nice. And people don't have the time. And you just come back and call me, like, I didn't know, Tina. Thank you so much for calling. And my flipped idea was that, oh, I'm interrupting their life. And, like, I don't want to disturb them. But that's not how it works. And until you do it, it doesn't work. So, yeah, I would love to join you. I mean, I would love for you to join me. and so the first 50 founding members, you're welcome. Help us build the product. I have the framework, but until and unless we have different users, kind of trying out, telling us what would they like their dream habit app to be like, it's I just want to test everything that I've built. And it's something that men, women both can use. But in the future, we're going to have accountability cohorts, which is not going to be too far away. But that's where the coaching will kick in. And at that time, you need to use the app to kind of see where your evidence is building towards. So you have ammunition against the inner demon when it says that, oh, look, your streak broke, you're not going to do it, you failed like a million times in the last X years and so on. So this has really helped me. It has changed the game, the way I feel right now, my confidence in myself, my image, my self-trust, the way I see myself has completely changed. And now I can literally feel in my head, there's a voice like, oh, I've already done that before over there, so I can do it here. But that wouldn't have been possible if I didn't see the data in front of me. And that's where this initiative has started. So for me, it's a movement. Yes, I hope I can see some of you there. Yes, Naomi.
Tina, maybe I didn't hear it, but it's free for the first 50 people to join Tina's app so you can see the data behind you showing up a little bit or a lot of it every single day to build the habits you want. Tina's not going to impose anything
Thank you.
on you. So you just join the cohort. I put the link in there. You get the app when it's ready, or it's ready now. I'm not really sure.
It's ready. It's ready. But what you will do is you sign up, send in your email, and I'm going to be personally reaching out to each and every one of you through your email or your contact, that you've shared. And yeah, so it's going to be one-on-one. I'll be involved in, getting you onboarded and, with your feedback. So it's a very high touch initiative. So yeah.
You're building habits together with Tina. She already has, like, if you check out Tina's the habit, the consistency collective. Why am I saying habit all the time? Maybe you should change.
Because it is about habits.
The Consistency Collective. Check out Tina's Substack. Please subscribe to her. And you're going to see there, I think in 2025, you were tracking a few different habits. You didn't have streaks, you just had bounce back rates and things like that. She has the graphs, and she shows you that it's possible to build skills without needing to show up every single day,
That's
yes,
right.
or whatever. And this is now coming into a app so you can, like, track it in a few seconds every single day, show up for yourself.
Less than 30 seconds every day to track.
Less.
But hey, thank you so much. Um, do you think we should take any questions?
Guys, always please put questions in the chat, and I'm happy to take a look. I'm gonna look in the back of it, but I don't think there's questions so far. Please type it in. There's AJ from India was super, super excited
Hello.
your project. So I'm sure that AJ is about to sign up for the Habit Collective and to build some habits with you. Habits can be about showing up on Substack regularly, about writing, about building your business, about building your health or investing in your health. I worked on it without really having a system behind it. This past year, I quit my job and started a year of me time, and I built my health and learn to prioritize myself and to kind of balance work and life and things like that. And that's kind of the magical things you can build, but actually also have visual representations of what you're doing. You know, like when
Very important.
you're on a diet and you don't see any results or something, the scale slowly kind of shows you maybe something. There's also plateaus, but when you see that you're showing up every day, that changes a lot of things in you. All of a sudden, you're not, like, on a diet, but you identify as a healthy eater because you do it every day, because you show up for yourself.
You know, Naomi, I wanted to add scientific research. And by the way, everything that I'm putting into the app and the content that I build, I research and I put stuff and find facts. So there's this very interesting research done by a psychologist, Roy Baumeister, and he did this research on. He said it takes 4 positive wins to set off one bad incident. Let that sit. 4 positive wins to set off one bad, like, for example, if you miss a streak, people remember that you've missed a streak, but they don't remember that you showed up for so many days behind you, but we're so focused on it. It's just how our brains are wired. It's just psychologically, that's how it is. um, and yet we blame ourselves so much. And this is my the reason I hate streaks so much. And once I um you know well, once I read this, it completely changed the way I look at myself, look at everything around. And this is what I wanted to uh, share when you were talking about, you've missed it, and why that happens. There's an actual scientific reason attached to it.
I was typing in the chat to show that it's possible to write there your questions, and
Thank you so much for the love. And thank you so much, Naomi, for doing this. It's such a fun chat.
it's one of my favorite things to do on Substack actually is to go live.
Yeah.
I like the adrenaline of not, like, even if you have a plan, it never goes according to plan. Can you confirm, Tina, that the structure we had in mind, it was kind of like almost it, more or less. But that's how lives are, or at least lives with me. I think maybe more structured perfectionists would have done a better job to keep a script of some sort or structure.
I just can't deal with perfection anymore. I mean, it's just it stopped me so much. And I, to be very honest, 2026, without when I let go of perfection, is when I've shipped the most number of newsletters. The app is coming out. I have a landing page on a website which never I was going through my folders. It's like so many different varieties, and some of them were really good. And I was like, why didn't I ship it? But that time I distinctly remember I was like, this is horrible. What if this? What if that? Like these multi conversations in my head. So yeah.
Exactly. I'm gonna say we have had a beautiful conversation that now has
Likewise.
run 50 minutes. We're gonna share recording.
Plan 20.
We planned 20, exactly. See, the all the planning worked perfectly, right on time. So
That's it.
we're gonna save the live and it's gonna show up on our publications, but please subscribe to Tina's publication, The
And to Naomi's.
Collective, not Habit Collective. Maybe there's one of those 2 or 7, because it's Substack. But, yeah, please follow Tina, subscribe to her, and find out more about building habits in a way that's possible and doable so you can see it.
And happy and joyful and sustainable.
Exactly. All those things. And for the people that love data and seeing visually how you're growing, how you're evolving, it's amazing. And to remove the perfectionism and the guilt related to streaks or losing the streaks or not being able to create one, like me and Duolingo that hates me. I was Duolingo showed me that I was on the last one because I wasn't showing up for any of the things, and it's like, "You're on the purple thing, we're about to kick you out." I'm like, "Jesus Christ, Duolingo, relax." Anyways, thank you, Tina, for today, for joining
Thank you.
me, for sharing your amazing cohort what's it called? Beta group of testers that you're sharing with me time in terms of inviting everyone to join and sharing kind of this really simple way to get your life to be a little bit better every single day for things that
Thank
you want to develop on. Thank you so much for staying up past time.
Yeah, it's like 122 in India, isn't it, AJ?
Oh no.
Okay.
And thank you, AJ, and whoever's in the line for joining our live. Thank you so much for joining. You're gonna see the recording if you joined in the middle of it and want to catch it from the beginning. And I wish you a beautiful Women's Day, Men's Day, Humans Day. Show up for yourself. Love yourself before you love anyone else, and everyone's going to be much happier, and life will have more joy.
Thank you so much. I wish everyone a wonderful rest of the day or night.
Or
Okay,
sleep
thanks to me.
tight.
Yeah.
Sleep tight.
Bye bye. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I'm hitting the what's it called? The end button. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Thanks.